The question is, why is he the finder? Why?
Okay, we are on. We are live.
We are silent.
Just for a split minute here.
Yeah, I feel like we should maybe let a couple people get in. You can
Yeah.
wait a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my computer to do its thing here. It's a little slow.
Should be coming in by the hundreds here in a minute or two.
Oh, yeah.
Hundreds. Oh my gosh. We do have a following now.
Definitely.
People probably wondered why we hadn't been on yet. Usually we're on before this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I guess the saga of the stoof.com is still going. So
Yeah.
and we noticed
They have pictures added to it all the time.
yes. Yeah, they keep adding pictures to it all the time.
Huh.
Can you hear okay, Galaxy?
Yeah, I can hear pretty good.
Okay. So yeah. And notice that Leroy was added to it. So
Right.
Is that a hint? Is that a hint to who it is?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on in that picture now. So we got a few people watching. So we were talking about, the whole stoof.com. We were talking about how it originally was Jack Stoof's blog, how he said he was the greatest placeholder. And Lee, you had some interesting information as far as the word finder as
Yeah.
a CIA term. Can you share
Yeah,
that?
Forrest kept referring to him only as the finder. And you remember that little mention where Forrest was CIA? I mean, we always had a little bit more information about that, right? But there that was. And so I started looking up CIA slang, and finder was a slang term that came in vogue in the 1970s, and it stands for, F into not denying. And they said what it really meant was the fall guy. So it was slang for the fall guy. So, yeah.
When you told me that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so funny.
So if he's being the finder, then he's the fall guy. He's the world's greatest placeholder.
Yeah, exactly. You put it all together right there in one little sentence.
I like that.
I also found out that Jack's grandfather had been in Vietnam at about the same time Forrest had been there.
Yeah, wouldn't that be?
So you kind of wonder, did they know each other? Were they both recruited there?
Yeah.
Was that why Forrest decided not to go up through the ranks of the military? Was he recruited at that point?
Right.
Oh.
A lot of speculations in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't know anything other than that one little sentence that appeared in that newspaper article.
Right. Well, maybe we'll get some answers this Saturday, you think?
I hope so.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know before we went live, we were talking about Shiloh's statement about the two chests and how there are a few jars out there, basically. That means it's like a continuation type thing going on, is what he's saying. Now, as far as the two chests, that's a little wordplay in my opinion. Maybe he knows that there's only one chest that was his grandfather's, but does he know that the chest at Heritage was actually his grandfather's? Because Justin was saying it's a 19th century chest, and it says it's inscribed on the bottom. I mean, we're going by Justin's words here. Now, Forrest says that a scholar told him that his Romanesque chest that he hid was an 11th century Romanesque box. So if they were making a hypothetical guess based on, some, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out. If they did some research, and that's what he came up with, then
right.
there was no inscription on the bottom of it then, because all you had to do is look at the bottom and say, oh, it's 11th century chest.
Right. Right.
So that's where I have a
Forrest
little.
was also tricky too, because the way he worded that, he said that somebody had guessed that it might be that.
Mhm.
That could be a clue too, so I don't know.
Right. Yeah, possibly. What do you think, Galaxy?
I think Shiloh could just not know it all.
Right. And it's very possible. I mean, Forrest did say he didn't write it down and he didn't tell anybody. And that one article that I've quoted is Forrest says if he didn't even tell his grandson.
Right. And didn't
So-
Zoe say that the family didn't know anything?
Right.
So I mean, and you have Forrest saying that he didn't tell anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
in addition to what you said, he said it in the book.
Right. Can you hear Lee okay, Galaxy?
Pretty good, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when we get a good picture of it. And for
Right.
some strange reason, 3 years later, the thing we were all looking for, we just can't seem to get a decent picture to prove it
Yeah.
100%.
And we're not saying that it's not the chest. It's just that why the secrecy and not showing us exactly what we need to see or want to see, or it's kind of like the old saying, let us help you help us.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
We're basically saying, okay, if we're delusional, prove us that we're delusional. Yeah.
Well, it's like in any you want to see the original. The two careers that I've been involved in, both of them involved having to see original documents. And even Forrest made that comment once, where he said he had an original map that a copy wouldn't do.
Mhm.
So in the end of this game, we're being asked constantly to have copies.
Uh-huh.
We're told about emails from Silo, but nobody ever took a screenshot of the email. I don't know why not.
Mhm.
It's not secret if the contents are being told, but we never actually can see the original email to confirm what Silo actually said or didn't say. And then there's the auction, but we can't actually, get a good shot of the chest. So, there's not many professions where you can just take word of mouth. You want to see the original. You want the proof.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with doubting because you don't have it.
Yeah. Something I've mentioned to Galaxy before, something I would be really interested in, a trip that I would enjoy taking would be to the Detroit Museum to see the actual chest that they have. It would be neat to see that, to see the bottom of it, because I don't think there's a picture of the bottom of it at all.
Yeah.
Maybe it's got an inscription on the bottom of it. I don't know, but I doubt it. But it would be just still cool to see that version of that chest.
You think that's the number? Somebody did, right? We could make a call and just ask. It would be helpful if we knew the extension number.
Yeah, I would say it's probably not on display anymore. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
They probably.
Just call and ask the reader to take a look at the bottom and see what it says.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Just call and ask. It doesn't hurt, right?
No.
That's how you get.
That's what the curators are for.
That's a positive. So it's not a negative thing to ask questions. It's a positive thing because you may not get the answer you want, but at least you tried. It's not a.
Yeah.
It's a positive.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
I tried reaching out to Shiloh myself, and you don't even get an answer back.
And that makes you wonder, doesn't it, Galaxy?
Well, I've been talking about it for years now, and just now get to hear about it coming, or just because he has to verify that it was him saying it privately to somebody else.
Right. Well, and think about Forrest. I mean, think about all the people that sent him emails, but it was only like a handful of people that ever really got, conversation from him. Doesn't that make you wonder too?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like reminds me of the scrapbook you point out all the time, Galaxy, about the Mary Lou's and the Billy Bobs.
Uh-huh.
He all had deals with them. It always made me wonder.
Oh yeah, how he made them feel like they were business partners
Yeah.
by letting them like basically share the profits on one
Yeah.
item.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he said it worked out for him because before long they were picking up paper clips and picking up trash on the ground.
Yeah. Nope.
Was that I don't remember that. Was that in the scrapbook?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, it was.
It was?
Yeah. It's one of the later ones too. Wasn't it Galaxy late 2019?
Gosh, I'm not sure.
I want to say 2019-ish. Yeah, towards the end. It was I
Oh.
think all those scrapbook dumps that came out.
Yeah, I often wonder. I hope I have all the scrapbooks.
Well, if you don't, we have a link to all of them, so you need it.
You're snoring in the background.
No.
You can hold the phone up.
So what's snoring? The hedgehog or the squirrel? The woodchuck? The woodchuck.
Yeah. It's really loud. Want me to hold the phone up so I can hear it?
That's funny.
No. Anyway, it's hard to I'm sure everybody has this problem. Oh man.
So I'll take some guesses as to Saturday evening. The big news that's going to happen. So my first one would be Cynthia made the comment about she was going to be drinking Dom Perignon. So if you think about Dom Perignon, DP, who's that stand for? Doug Preston. Another one I've thought of is Chris Jones from Nashville, the Vignettes guy, the chess replica guy. That would be an interesting interview also. Maybe not yield a lot, but it would be interesting to hear from him,
It would.
What about the olive jar? Everybody's kind of forgotten about the olive jar.
Oh, it's the olive jar guy.
Maybe it's the olive jar guy. And maybe it's something big because it's the olive jar, but maybe she already knows it's kind of downplaying it that, maybe it's not going to be as big a news inside that olive jar as what we all anticipated.
Did the Netflix video get axed? I mean, is that not happening now?
From what I see, it doesn't seem like it's happening now. Several other people say it is, and Ben alluded to it last week that him and Ashley seem to have an inside supposedly to Netflix a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you take their word for it, but they haven't heard anything. But so it's it's he said, she said type thing. We're nobodies, but we are somebody.
Oh heck yeah. Cheers, Pop.
So what do you think, Galaxy and Lee, about what could be coming up Saturday? What's your all's guess?
I was just wondering if he had reached out to somebody from Netflix.
Well, yep, and that is a good possibility too.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something. Maybe some clarification on that, because she has pretty much sworn up and down that there is a Netflix documentary being done. Now, I went through the same avenue, and I filled out the form for the whole Netflix documentary thing through Vox, and not once but twice, and I never got one single email.
Yeah.
And I only did it to see if I'd get anything back. Not that I was
Yeah.
actually going to go through with it. I just wanted to see if I'd get something back.
Always go into production, and then they don't get the funding, and halfway through people lose interest, and they just fade into nothing. And I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And it can even happen after you have, a dozen meetings with them, and they fly you to LA, and they, you think something's going to come through for sure, and then just fizzle.
Yeah.
So that's pretty normal.
Right. What do you think, Galaxy, what Saturday could bring or not bring?
I said I think it'll have like audio, and it'll be with Jack.
You think it's going to be Jack?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Where he's going to say something like,
very, very vague questions, because they won't be able to ask him, any of the clues or anything like that. So it'll be like, how did you feel when you found the treasure? How did you feel when you were in the lawyer's office? It'll be like that.
like, good questions, but not questions enough to they're not going to yield real good answers, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's too on, but
Oh, the YouTube.
I just wanted to see what some of the chat was, and then of course the volume came on.
I haven't seen anybody in the chat.
Well,
Nobody's chatting but me. I think that's all I have. Is that all you see, Galaxy? Can you see the chat?
real quick.
Yeah, I can see the chat. I haven't
Oh.
been paying attention to it, but
No. Okay, well, for some reason, oh, now it's there. I don't know why mine's been doing that lately, but last week it did the same thing. I couldn't see anybody in there. Hi, everybody. Sorry. My computer expertise is only in graphic design, not YouTube live. So yeah, we just wanted to pop on for a few minutes and, discuss a few things. Mainly Lee has pointed out the finder term in the CIA. That was pretty interesting. I was like, well, we at least have to go live and share that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because that corresponds with the whole placeholder.
do you guys think Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy? Or John Wilkes Booth?
What?
I said, do you think Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy?
Oh, and he was a finder.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, those stories really haven't been. I mean, we know what the history is telling us, but that's a lot of speculation too. Look at John F. Kennedy and all of that.
I just mentioned them because they're in TTO, TC.
Yeah, they are. You're right. And that kind of goes along with the finder,
So still, what's the connection, though? So we just figure out the connection between the finder, Forrest.
Right. Well, we have some ideas. We just haven't shared them.
Right. Well, right.
We're not ready to share that yet.
No. It's a zinger. We just need to find a little bit more information first. Yeah.
Zozo Rock says this weekend is just clickbait, which usually ends up as nothing new.
It's probably going to be, it's probably going to be, you're not going to get a cheeseburger with everything on it. You're going to get just a plain burger. No lettuce, tomato, onions, ketchup, mustard. You're not even going to get cheese on it, probably. It's just going to be a burger and a bun.
This .com photo montage.
Oh, you're talking about the stoof.com?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, huh?
You were saying, but Jeff doesn't answer emails anymore, does he?
Supposedly not. I don't think he's done any answering emails.
Yeah.
I don't think
Galaxy-
anyone.
Haven't you sent him a couple?
Just like,
Me or Lee?
Yeah.
Aaron. Sorry.
This domain name never lapsed and somebody else bought it, did they?
Can you repeat that, Lee?
Hackers have come in.
No.
You're off YouTube now?
No, I'm on. I just muted myself for a minute.
Okay.
I was talking to my neighbor.
Oh.
Came to the back door, so I was talking to him.
Oh.
You still there, Galaxy?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I think the stoop.com is a bunch of BS. I think it's kind of laughable, or we shouldn't take it serious because, there was a ticker on it for 2 days, 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, like when it's down in less than 24 hours, it like went to 7 days or 8 days.
Yeah. Well, it's right after K-Pro talked about her Saturday epicness coming. Because Tuesday was the end of the countdown. Tuesday at 10 o'clock was the end of the countdown. Central time zone. For you, it would have been what? 11 o'clock, Galaxy?
Yeah.
8 o'clock on the West Coast. Yeah. So when they came out with that Monday night, whoever had stoof.com and was trying to plan something, maybe that got stifled and they had to start a new countdown for the next week. Does that make sense?
Or if it's just a troll, they're just playing along with what sounds good. And of course, setting it to when this weekend happens is might correlate with whatever comes out.
Yeah.
There's no way to find out who owns the domain, but this is an old domain name, though, right?
Yes, it is, because it was originally Jack's. Yes. Yeah.
And what were you saying about Melville or Morel?
James Morel.
Yeah.
So that picture on stoof.com, that's the original. That's the credit for the original picture is James Morel. It's in that picture is in an article.
You know where it was published originally?
It's well, I shared that. Let me see. It's called, let's see. It's called 15 Dark Living Room Ideas to Inspire Dramatic Color Scheme. That's the article that I found it in. Yeah. Right. So the saying I used earlier, let us help you help us. not seem
That's right.
not seem so delusional, you know.
Yeah.
Galaxy and I was talking.
That's the biggest Santa Claus. Well, we think he's a finder.
Bill says Chris Jones was on one of his streams. I didn't know that. So Galaxy and I was talking about, you know, we haven't gotten any really good pictures. It's like the JF and the signature in the bottom left-hand corner on the top of the chest, you know, where the lid goes down. And nobody's bothered to even show us that, you know, that's clearly a marking that's there that we haven't been shown. That's something that could help us.
Even Justin won't show that corner.
You're breaking up, Galaxy.
I said even Justin won't show those front corners.
Right. So you and I were looking at that, and you can see some of the wood grain on that back left-hand corner pretty good. Did you ever get a better chance to look at it?
Not good enough, no.
Yeah. So yeah, I just don't.
At this point, I really don't even want to say what I'm looking for, because then they'll just leave that out.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, and I know what you're talking about, because we won't even. So I brought up a good point the other night to Galaxy, and I'll share that with you later, Lee, in an email, but something that I picked up on, like, yeah, I'll share it with you later. Just thought it was an interesting concept, but not that that's what's going on. It's just something I noticed. But supposedly Justin, you know, said give him some time. He's going to start sharing pictures. So I don't know. We've been waiting for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he's had the chest since, how long's he had the chest? Probably since November, you think? Since Heritage auction?
Yeah, probably.
I would say at least.
All I gotta say though is Dan can't show us, Shiloh can't show us, and now you have Justin that can't show us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Heritage wasn't allowed to. And yeah, I don't know. We're just in a waiting game, people. That's all I can say. We're just the little peons. We're the little pawns. We're not the bishops.
You asked me a question earlier. You said, what was it you said that? I forgot what you asked, but something like I said, there's more than one riddle to be solved in this, right? So I'm still, a purist in one way, because I see a line tied directly between me and Forrest and anybody else who wants to have that kind of tie. And, he put forth a riddle, and I'm still trying to solve it.
Right.
And I'm still having fun trying to solve it. And I'm still trying to, it's like I keep bringing up the chess game. It's like walking by a chessboard, and I'm going to figure out that move eventually. Someday I'll be able to play a hand, or somebody will, I hope. So that challenge is still on, regardless of all this other crazy stuff that's going on.
Right.
That I don't understand. I understand the chase more than I understand the stuff after the chase, which is like the picture, and what the tie-in is with Jack. I don't get that either, but there's still that pure, beautiful riddle to be solved.
Right. Well, Zozo points out a pawn can become a queen, so that makes it a powerful piece.
There you go. Love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I played chess, but
Yeah.
I was just reading some of the comments. So yeah, we didn't have much to talk about. So we just thought we'd come on live for a few minutes and definitely wanted to share the CIA, the Finder. I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting.
If anybody knows any more about that connection and that, we've got to put our heads together on that.
Yeah,
Try to come.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. That's pretty interesting.
I was even talking to somebody whose relative was in that organization and said that they used to recruit a lot from the military. They recruited a lot from Vietnam.
Oh, I bet back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you think, well, let's see. That's when we came up with, well, let's see. Jack's granddad was in Vietnam. I don't know. I mean, we just don't know. But we can keep on trying to plod forward and see if we can come up with something.
Mhm. Yeah, but I like the way you put it. You're like, I hope Shiloh doesn't tell everything because you're still trying to figure some things out.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to tell them the 9 clues. I don't want those told yet because I'm just not done even remotely. I'm not even just starting. No. I mean, I don't think when I'm 90 years old I want to wait that long. But
Right.
don't tell me that. I'm put out a challenge and I accepted offer and acceptance. Okay, in legal terms, I accepted the offer. So I still want to work at trying to come up with the riddle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just frustrated with myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's the answer? You don't want the answer yet. Work on it.
Would you take the answer to one of the clues?
No, I don't even want one of the clues. How many years does it go by where some these test games will go on for like 5 years and it's been a year since anyone can make a move? That's how I feel in this thing. It's like, no, I don't even want one clue. I mean, I wouldn't mind more clues. I just don't want any of the clues answered yet.
Right. So somebody in chat wanted you to repeat your CIA.
Oh, it was slang that came out in the 1970s, and it's just for it means the fall guy for the pet. But if you want the actual abbreviation, I gotta look it up again. Remember, it was like F. No, remember what I said it was.
Yeah, it was the Finder. Yeah, it was considered the Patsy.
Yeah, it means cat, but I'm still trying to find it. Cool.
Or AKA Fall Guy. I mean, placeholder.
Yeah,
Placeholder.
Slang from the 1970s.
Because that's what Jack referred to himself on Stoof.com.
No.
Right.
Not denying was the real thing. So in other words, you're screwed into not denying something, so therefore you're the fall guy.
Yeah.
You have no choice. You can't deny it. So yeah, and that became in the 1970s, according to the website.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
then
he was
so
named. His name was outed as the Finder, so therefore he's just got to play along with it.
He's got to play along.
Yeah. See where he doesn't know the whole story, but he's playing along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. It's just a different theory. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Jack calling himself the greatest placeholder on his blog,
That's right. The minute I heard that that's what Finder means, and it would be just like Forrest, play on words too, like that. And if he really had been in the CIA, which you don't really know except that newspaper article said so.
Yeah.
Then he would know that slang term, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
A lot of puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
It reminds me of somebody who was on AGK would have been in might have been 2020, early 2020 or late 2019. And their solve was based off of a 3D, it's like a 3D puzzle where you've got all your bottom pieces that's got to fit, and then you start building your puzzle up. And that's where they were doing their solve. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would go
Wow.
crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. And it was a group of people too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was, I don't remember what her name was, but I do remember that.
But it's a complicated one, isn't it?
Yeah, that would be complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been on for a little over a half hour, right at a half hour, I guess.
So,
I'm ready.
in summary, the 1970s CIA used the term finder as a placeholder. Well, there's a fall guy or the patsy.
Yeah.
From that sense, it's a placeholder.
Yeah. And Jack referred to himself as the placeholder. So,
Yeah.
On his own blog,
Huh.
that's what he said.
Yeah. So it ended the chase, more or less.
Yeah.
Except for a few of us.
Right. Well, and now Shiloh's basically kind of said there's a few jars out there. So
Yeah.
that's, he's also made the comment he's $1 million in the hole. Okay, well, how much gold can you fill in a jar?
Your theory is that a new chase is started up again.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he said there are a few jars out there. So with him
Yeah.
saying that, I mean, to me, that's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah.
If
No,
that
it is.
if that came from Shiloh, of course, too.
Yeah.
That's assuming that was Shiloh. He did say it. Like
Right.
Galaxy says, he's sent message to Shiloh and never got an answer. So
Yeah. How come? I mean, people can do what they want, but isn't it something to never show a copy of the email? I mean, why not just screenshot the email? If you're reading it to us anyway. Why can't we at least see it? That way we would confirm it a bit more.
I think Ben has shared his.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's screenshotted his.
Oh, good.
And
All
I
right.
think they're I don't think they're emails, I think they're texts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, the only bad thing is anything can be faked if it's just a screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I'd like to think that they're real, but I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
maybe Shiloh will come on the show.
maybe Shiloh would come on the show. He's more than welcome to. I guess I could send him a link at some point in time. I never thought about that, but I don't have his email, but I do. I mean, he's got his Facebook Messenger. Now whether that, I could go that route, or I could send it to his Oldwood email.
I vote Brian Gates to be the spokesman for the community, to be
Oh my
the
God.
middleman
You,
between us and Shiloh.
you got the wrong guy.
I don't know. You're nice and level-headed. That sounds good. I second that.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. You might be more confused than you are now. But yeah, it would be nice if he could. He's so crafty with his words, like you said, Lee. When I pointed out, when I pointed out what he said about the two chests and a few jars out there, you were like, well, he's very crafty with his words, isn't he?
Well, and look who he was, raised by. He was raised by the best, right? Who's
Yes.
better at that than Forrest?
Yes.
Nobody.
It's kind of like Forrest has told a story once, and I'm not going to say what it is. I've never said what it is, but I did contact a museum about the story. And they're like, no, we have never heard that story before.
Oh,
And
one
then
of Forrest's stories?
one of Forrest's stories, I contacted the museum, but I said, okay, now this part is true. And I bet you're probably going to notice when I say it. So I continued on with my story and they're like, oh yeah, now that did definitely happen.
Yeah.
But it's like he embellishes on his stories, you know, like he says 85, 15, or is that what his saying is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got to be careful with now when he does something like that, you have to be careful and not to go down too much of a rabbit hole, because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's probably where the clues lie.
That's
my
exactly
opinion.
right. And you don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. It's okay to look in the rabbit hole, but not go too deep.
The woodchuck hole, but
There you go. You have a lot of animals, skunks and fox.
new.
Oh gosh, a pet squirrel,
Woodchuck. Yeah.
pet woodchuck. Oh my gosh, you're living a life.
Really, rabbits seem a little boring. I'd rather go down some other kind of hole.
In my backyard here, we've got some woods behind us, and I'm always drives my dog crazy, but I throw stuff out to the rabbits back there a lot.
Oh, you're hearted. That's
Some
good.
of the lettuce or things that are, some fruit that's starting not turned yet, but I'm just tired of it, so I throw it out there to the vegetables or carrots or something.
You get possums that come up.
I've seen a possum before, but it's been a while since I've seen one. I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah.
Raccoons. My son's got a deer camera, trail camera
yeah.
up back in behind us. He likes to keep track of the deer and stuff. It's going through here. Oh yeah. Anything you want to add, Galaxy? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with my chat. I have to keep refreshing it. I don't know what causes that.
Coming up on mine.
Yeah,
Scrolling up on mine.
it works fine. It's just every once in a while I'll hang up and I'll have to hide it and then show it, and it comes back up. I don't know who Tigger is. Have you ever seen Tigger's name in there before, Galaxy?
Yeah.
Have you?
I've seen the name before.
Have you? Was it? Oh, okay. So, okay, Larry just said triggered something. How doth the crocodile out? The Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the story about Alan Simpson where he could recite all of Alice in Wonderland? Was that?
Yeah,
Alan
I believe
Simpson?
so.
That was Alan. That's the story. You'll have to go back and listen to that, Lee.
But he was also. We found out he was also on the board.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was also on the board of that, whatever, that Cody Museum or something like that.
Yeah. But I think he was the one that could recite. Forrest said he could recite the Alice in Wonderland poem, or he could recite the whole story, or something like that. Galaxy, he remembers all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe he could read it word for word.
He could do it word for word. Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, you can add that to your little caveat on the Alan Simpson thing.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. And that's all we'll say about that.
Yeah, maybe we'll find more out of this. We gotta double down and try to get more information.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm gonna say good night. How about you guys? You ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, 'cause you guys are ahead of me on time because it's what?
Yeah, so it's like going on 10 o'clock.
It's going on 10 o'clock for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm Central Time Zone, so
No, you're good.
Problem. And half the people are out west, so
yeah,
we have
Good.
work in the morning.
yeah. They're just now eating supper, sitting down and eating supper.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, y'all have a good rest of the week and we'll see what happens Saturday.
Oh yeah. All right. See you then.
Yeah. Bye, Lee.
Bye.
Okay, Galaxy, I guess I'm going to end this. Unless you
Okay.
have something you want to say.
I got nothing. I'm just curious to see what happens this weekend.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I'd like for it to be something, pretty big, kind of, close the door a little bit, maybe 25%. I don't think we're going to get that though. It just seemed like it was already being downplayed a little bit. But I'm trying to be positive. Isn't that the word I'm supposed to use?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a pretty positive person, I'm trying to look on the bright side of things.
I just have to think that it's not going to be anything.
Yeah. The Dom Perignon thing caught me though. DP, Doug Preston. And I think even if it was Doug Preston, you're probably not going to get a lot out of him either. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see what they come back with.
I'm calling Jack Stoof.
Maybe they're going to find a jar. You don't think that's it?
No.
All right, we'll see what the stoof.com comes up with, and we'll see what Christy and Mike come up with. I was gonna, oh yeah, I forgot about that, Galaxy. I was gonna join Discord live. You remember me saying that?
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe I shouldn't. I did say something about that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I'm backing down, aren't I?
Don't even do it. I'm gonna talk you out of it.
You're gonna talk me out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. I was waiting for Ben to offer me a couple $100 to join. It seems like it's an important thing that we join.
For a couple $100, you said?
Yeah. Anyway, we're just having fun. Don't just ignore us.
Yeah, I agree. No hard feelings.
No hard feelings. All righty, Galaxy. I'm going to end this stream here.
Okay.
And